Okay, we
And we
are
are
live.
live.
Yes, we are live. And as usual, it's Sunday morning, and we're doing Ask the Healthcare Advocate live, where we talk about all things connected to healthcare advocacy. And today I have a special guest. This is my first time having a guest on the Facebook Live, and it's very exciting. Thank you, Tamar, for being my first guest. Hopefully, not the last. We'll see how it goes.
Hopefully, yeah.
But Tamara and I have the honor and the zchut of working with Tamara on our new Caring for the Caregiver series and moving forward in the issue of caregivers. And Tamara is an expert on caring for the caregiver. So I thought that I would take a few minutes this morning to find out a little bit more about who is Tamara. So, first of all, if you can, just give us a brief, how long have you been in Israel? Because that always interests me. And where are you from originally?
Sure. I made Aliyah 35 years ago from New York. I made Aliyah like the day that I finished college. I came to Israel. Before that, I had been here on a program through NIFTY, the National Federation of Temple Youth. I was here on a 6-month program, which was 3 months living with an Israeli family in Jerusalem and 3 months on kibbutz. And right after the program, I stayed for another year on the kibbutz, and then I went back to the States, went to college, and my junior year I spent here at Haifa University. And as soon as I finished college, I majored in Judaic Studies and Women's Issues. And I went into the pre-med program, and I realized, because at first I thought, if I'm going to live on kibbutz, I have to do something that has some meaning, and I thought I would be a doctor, but I didn't realize that the studying was so intensive. So I switched my major. I had these wonderful professors, and I switched my major to Judaic Studies and my minor to Women's Issues. And I made Aliyah and to kibbutz. On kibbutz,
Which
I
is
met my husband.
always a good thing to have in kibbutz is Judaic studies. That's
Yeah, really
a very
important.
applicable degree.
Yeah, it was really important.
Wait, which
And
kibbutz
I
was
married
that?
my husband. I met the man who I married became my husband, and we moved to Carmiel 25 years ago. We have 2 children together, and we have 2 children from his first marriage, and I have 6 grandchildren and another one on the way.
Wow. Wait, and so
Yeah.
what kibbutz was that?
We were on Kfar Maccabi, which is near Kiryat Ata. It's in the Krayot. It's in this area, kind of Carmiel and
So near the.
Haifa.
So what do you do? What did you do in kibbutz? Did you have like a special job, or did you just, rotate
Well,
around?
my first years I worked with, I grew up in a youth movement, so it was very natural that I would work with the teenagers and work with the volunteers.
Wow.
And then I worked, of course, I did my Tornut in the kitchen and in the refit. And then the refit, yeah, I worked with the calves a lot. And then yeah, it was an experience. It was definitely an experience for the New Yorker that I was. And then I worked in the factory for a while. Actually, that's where I met. I worked in the factory. I was the secretary. Of course, I mean, you have to use your English when it's necessary. You do what you can do.
Right.
And that kind of veered me away. And one day I said to my husband, I was still working half with the teenagers and half in the factory at this point, or back in teenagers. I already had children, and we came to see a concert in Carmiel in the beautiful amphitheater. And I said to my husband, if we ever leave kibbutz, I want to come here. The next day, or later that day, he went to the maskirut and said, "We're leaving."
We're leaving.
He was just
He was ready
waiting
to
for
go,
it.
I guess.
Yeah, he was a Ben Meshek. He still is a Ben Meshek. And
What does that
so I
mean?
still
Just to clarify, what's a ben
he was born on the kibbutz. He was born on the kibbutz.
Ah, wow.
Um, yeah,
Wow.
it was
Such a different
thing. It was a thing.
different
Yeah,
lifestyle.
yeah, it was a different lifestyle.
So
And
I
we're
know
very
you did.
happy in Carmiel. We love we really do. We
It's a
have friends
beautiful place.
here. We breathe. It's beautiful. Yeah.
So I know for many years you worked in marketing, right? Before you
No,
moved on to
I was a human resource manager.
human resources, right.
Yeah. When we left kibbutz, I worked for a little while in import export, and then I I became a secretary, of course, English, Hebrew, what do you do? And as the company that I worked for grew, I went into human resources. I studied it. I furthered that area, and then I trained for a while. I worked in another company where I trained, where I did international relations, human resources, recruiting, and taxonomy, which is the categorization of things. And it was
Right.
it was exciting and it was fun. And then my two kids went into the army. And one day I met my husband at a hotel in Amsterdam. He was working in Europe, and I was on my way to America. And we were both wearing suits, and we had these trolleys and shoes. And I said to him, "Oh my goodness, what is this? Is this the life that we chose? Is this what we wanted?
Wow.
Two kibbutznikim. This is what we wanted? No." And I
That's
went
so
and I studied
crazy.
coaching.
Because for a lot of people, that could be like what you aspire to be. You would think like we've made it. We're meeting in Europe. We both have our like, hand luggage. We're off to international travel. That's interesting that you guys totally pivoted.
It was not what I wanted. It was really not what I wanted as a lifestyle. And I kind of, my kids were going into the army, and I did not want to leave them food in their freezer when they came home on the weekends. Like
Mm,
two kids, my son had
right.
already, my son was in 12th grade or something. And by the time I left my job, he was already in the army,
Yeah.
and he was Kravi, and she became a Makit. She was a sergeant, and he was,
Right. It's probably right.
Kravi, and I'm really glad that I made that choice, and a coaching course came to Carmiel, and my son-in-law said, "Oh, there's a coaching course coming to Carmiel. This would really
Uh,
suit you."
and it was
And
like a fit.
yeah, and I took the course, and I did not think I was going to do it at all, at all.
Huh.
But it just fit in, it just fit in. Everything fit in after that to this whole new thing. And then in the army, I didn't sleep like many, many Israeli mothers. I did not sleep when my son was in active duty,
Right.
and he came out fine. He really did finish it fine, and he still does miluim. But my daughter was injured. My daughter was seriously injured in the army. Seriously, she was injured in the army.
Right. Right.
Um, Serious is relative. And I was already coaching. And when she finished the army, we realized that she needed to get full treatment. And she and I moved to Tel Aviv for several months so that she could get outpatient help. There's not, in this area, it's very
Yeah.
minimal.
Yeah.
And we stayed with
Most
friends, and
areas.
we sublet, and family who we hadn't had any contact with. We just stayed by them. People were incredible, incredible. My husband's cousins were like, of course, stay by us. My daughter couldn't walk up the stairs. So with
Oh,
one family that we stayed with, like they gave us their bedroom and they went to the children's room for 2 weeks.
wow.
Like
Wow.
people were just amazing. Family was just so amazing. And during this time, I realized that I I wasn't really any more into coaching people who
Oh, wait, you froze there for a second. We've lost you. Ah, the powers of the internet. Wait, hopefully Tamara's gonna get back. Wait, we
and
lost you there for
we're
a second,
back.
Tamara. Yeah, we're back. Wait, say it
We're
again. You
back.
said you realized that you weren't interested in coaching. It's like the critical.
I realized I wasn't really that into coaching anymore. People who were just looking for a change in their lives. But
Yeah.
for someone, I was wanted to spend my time when we were past this phase in Tel Aviv. That I wanted to spend my time working with people who really the um, the force of change came from a health issue. And I was fortunate enough that within a short amount, and then I started doing it. I realized I was missing tools.
Right.
So I went and I learned medical coaching specifically at the Medical Coaching Institute, which is, at the time, there was a course in Israel. Now the courses are online in English. And it's for coaches who want to focus on medical coaching.
Medical issues. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been doing that for the past 6 years. And I've been
Wow.
working, and I work for primarily with Caregivers. We were talking about caregivers, and I work primarily with caregivers, but of course, anyone who needs my help or whatever is
Do you
more
think
than
you could
welcome.
sort of hone in on like what are one of the major challenges that you see people are dealing with that you help them tackle?
Well, first, I think that there are two. I think that the first one is the overwhelm. And I'm talking about caregivers right now, but
Right,
I
right,
mean,
right,
this is
right.
the same
Caregivers,
for
yeah.
anyone. And in some cases, the caregiver is the person who has the illness, him or herself. Okay. But I think
Right.
that the first thing is overwhelm of not being able to find heads or tails or not being able to know, you know, between the medical system in Israel or abroad, between any medical system. And of course, I work with people anywhere in the world who speak anybody who speaks English or Hebrew. But the first thing is the overwhelm of what do I do first? What is my decision? What, do I take care of food? Do I take care of sleep? Do I take care of breathing? Do I take care of the
Mm.
doctors? Do I take care of my family's involvement? What do I take care of first? And that overwhelm is one thing. And the second issue I think is where do I fit in personally, me, in this whole thing? Do I fit in? Is it okay if I fit in? Is it okay if I take time for myself? Do I stay at work? Do I not stay at work? All of these other issues that I think that those are the two main issues. And when I'm talking about caregiver, I'm talking about the family caregiver. This when it's a paid caregiver, then they have the issues that professionals have. But I'm talking about someone who's in the family, who is the accompaniment, is the person who accompanies the person who's ill. So I think that those are the two main issues: the overwhelm and where do I fit in this whole thing, and can I allow myself to fit in?
Mm. Wow. So you help people work through those and those issues. And you have like a do you have a set like a series, or you work on in like a we'll just sort of take it as it comes, or you have like a package? What how does that work?
No, it's coaching. So the coaching concept is that we work from here. The difference between coaching and therapy basically is therapy works on what happened, how did I get here, why am I here, and coaching works on what now, what next.
Right.
That's the major thing. Sometimes, of course, we have to touch the past, but in general, it's about focusing on the future. So everyone's at a different place. Everyone, we want to find out what the goal is. But in order to
Right.
get to the goal, sometimes we have to, get rid of some of that overwhelm.
Right.
First, we usually have to make some sort of order, some sort of seder in the whole thing, and then we can work on what it is that someone wants to work on. We don't usually make these incredible big goals. We have smaller
Mm.
ones, that we can have
Right.
successes.
Right.
Sometimes I work with my clients on their journey, specifically a more theoretical thing or a more philosophical discussion where we work on the caregiver journey. Who am I in this? Really, who am I in this? Who else is in this? Um, not why have I been given this, but what do I do with
What do
this?
I do with this? Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So
It's very
there's
empowering.
the and for everyone, it's very, very different. Sometimes it's 4 sessions, sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 20. The
Right.
very beginning, we get to know each other, either in my office or on Zoom or on Skype.
Are you doing Zoom a lot with your clients? Are you mostly Zoom? Are you in person? I mean,
Well,
have you been?
first of all, there are two. I live in Carmiel, so you have to live in the north for kind of it to come here. My original dream was that I make it available to the north, but even
Right.
so, caregivers have funny kinds of hours, and leaving the home is not always possible. So
Right.
I've been working on Zoom even before Corona. I've been working on the internet, on Skype, on Zoom, on Cisco, even before Corona.
Right.
And now it's even so much more. I mean, now it's almost always on the
Right. And
internet.
people are more used to it also, so it's become. So you and I have we've sort of started on this new joint project together.
So
Uh,
exciting.
so can you just tell us a little bit about how you see it? We have our online series, which is good, but we've already started this new project, which really came from your impetus. So can you tell us a little bit about why you thought that was important and what we're trying to do together?
Yes. So first of all, I think that patient advocacy is like it's so fundamental and so important. Helping someone to navigate through the any system, but especially through the Israeli system, because on one hand, it's supposed to be free and it's supposed to be taken care of. And on
Mm,
the other hand, it's so bureaucratic and so complicated. And even more so if you don't speak Hebrew,
right,
even more so. Um, but even if you speak Hebrew, it's overwhelming. Even if you read and write, I mean, it's overwhelming. So, I've been blessed to meet you through, places that we've kind of interacted in the past. And so there's that. And then there's the coaching the person, which is what I do. So the combination of working with someone or working with a family that needs and wants to go through the medical system and needs to and wants to learn from it, to build from it, to be
and
improved by it, to be
communicate
independent,
well. Yeah,
to communicate with each other, to flourish in this, to kind of like
right.
the possibility that we might actually flourish, that we might actually become more whole.
Hmm.
So I think that that's what this combination is all about. This combination of your work and my work, and it becomes like not 1 and 1 equals 2, but 1 and 1 equals 3. It makes something new, something positive, something that with the family we can possibly achieve things that we couldn't before because we're helping them. We're not saying go and find. We're saying,
Right.
okay, here we offer this. We don't
Together.
share what doesn't need to be shared. We
Right.
create contracts with the different people in the group that we're working with. But we provide both of these services, these two services that together, I think, can really envelop someone in a place where they can grow and where they can find the information that they need.
Right. Oh,
So
that's such a
I'm
good way.
I'm really, really excited about it.
Me too. You put that so well. That was good.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for taking out of your Sunday morning to join us here with Ask the Healthcare Advocate Live.
Fantastic.
And hopefully this will continue on other series, and you and I will continue talking as well. And
I'm sure.
yeah, and have a lovely day.
Wonderful. You too. Shavua tov, my dear. Shavua
Shabbat
tov.
tov. Bye bye.